Good morning.
Good morning.
What a great greeting. My name is Cheryl Lawson and I serve on your fellowship board. I want to thank you all for being here today and extend a special welcome to any visitors. If you would like any information on the fellowship, please visit our welcome table in the fireside room or sign our virtual guest book at uufames.org guest book. Whether you are joining us from home or here in Fellowship Hall, we invite you to stay after the service for coffee and fellowship, where you can introduce yourself and join in conversation with kindred spirits. So on behalf of this caring, nurturing congregation, I welcome each and every one of you to this sacred space. Here we invite you into an experience of transformation, hope, renewal, and connections, which may inspire you to understand life in new ways. Thank you for joining us.
Our opening words are from Tess Baumberger. This place would be less beautiful without you. Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Jew, Hindu, humanist, and earth-centered too. This place would be less beautiful without you. Your heart honed by hardship, grief, and illness, seeking solace and comfort here among us. This place would be less beautiful without you, filled with joy and gratitude, seeking celebration of life's bounty. This place would be less beautiful without you, curious, inquisitive, asking questions, seeking transformations from within. This place would be less beautiful without you. Striving to resist a world that tells us we are so much less than we can truly be. This place would be less beautiful without each of us. Born here in this morning to seek heaven's fire in each other's souls, our own flames rising to meet. Please join now in our responsive reading for lighting the chalice from Andrea Hawkins Camper. Blessed are we who gather with open hearts together in this space today.
Blessed are we, the chalice lighters of resistance, justice, love, and faith.
Blessed are we, the heretics, the outcasts, the walkers of our own way.
Blessed are we, the border crossers, the refugees, the immigrants, the poor, the wanderers who are not lost.
Blessed are we, the transgressors, the trespassers, the passers-by, the cause-takers, the defiant, the compliant.
Blessed are we, the hand extenders, the sign makers, the protesters, the protectors.
Blessed are we, the trans women, the trans men, the non-binary, the cisgender, the multigender, the no gender.
Blessed are we, the friend, the stranger, the lonely, the hidden, the visible, the authentic.
Blessed are we who rise in solidarity, and blessed are we who cannot.
Blessed are we who do not.
Blessed are we, for this is our beloved community, and this is who we are. Will you rise now in body or spirit for our opening song, number 1000, Morning Has Come.
For our Time for All Ages today, we are doing something just a little bit different. And so, I'm going to first speak to the kids. So, did you guys see what today's service is called? Showing Up. And so later on, Reverend AJ is going to talk about some of the ways that we out here can all show up for each other when someone's feeling sad or upset. Well, another way that we can show up for our fellowship community is being prepared for emergencies. All right, so kids, how many of you have been a part of a fire drill? You got fire drills? Yes, okay. Well, at the end of today's service, we're going to have a fire drill here at Fellowship Hall. So, Ms. Dana is going to talk to each of you more about what you'll need to do in your classrooms to be prepared. But let's take a few minutes to talk about things here in Fellowship Hall. All right, today's fire drill. It will help provide an initial assessment, which will help us make better plans for the future. So we may not do it perfect, but we'll get better. So we're really just starting the work of being ready, and today is an important step. As we make a better plan for the safety of our community, we'll also need a dedicated team of safety volunteers, looking at people out there, so we can get a community and trained and ready for emergencies. All right, so Mirella and Clara, can the two of you stand up and split the crowd down the middle? So go the other way, face Roger, and we're going to split the crowd right down the middle. You guys got it? There you go. All right. Okay, so everyone take a moment and kind of look around you and remember who's on your right and who's on your left. Because in a crowded, often rushed emergency situation, it can be hard to make sure everyone is accounted for. So please remember who's next to you and make sure that you all get outside safely. All right, so all of everybody on stage left, house right over here. So you're going to go out the emergency door in the back corner. You're going to go past at the very end. You're going to go past the memorial garden, around the building, out to the sidewalk, and up to the back parking lot. Everybody on house left. There's the door back behind the corner, and I just lost my place here. And you'll go out to that small window around the corner and exit through the big double doors and continuing out to the upper parking lot. So we're not going to go out the big door here. We're going to go around the corner through the small wooden door. So for today, we will have helpers along our exit route. So all my friends here in orange vests, Who do we got an orange vest? Raising an orange vest. Yay! Thank you, everybody. All right. So you're going to be they are going to be helping to guide where to go. All right, so kids, why do you think I'm wearing a different colored vest for today's fire drill?
Aren't you going to use that thingy?
So you saw my bullhorn. Yeah, I get to use that later.
You get to make a very, very loud noise.
I will at some point. So I'm going to be the incident commander. So I'll signal the start of the drill at the end of the service. And then I'll make sure everybody can hear that it's starting. And I'll send the friends out to the entrances of the parking lots. One of them's going to pretend to call 911 to let the fire department know to come. Let's pretend. And when everyone has gathered in the safe zone, that upper parking lot, we will do one last check to make sure everyone made it out okay. So that's part of my role. And then I'm going to use that bullhorn to sound the all clear. I'm going to go up and we'll chat about it. And eventually, when we have our safety team set up, those people will step in, and they'll get to be the incident commanders. Cool vests. And they'll be able to help us all through future fire drills and emergencies. So, adults, it is important that you do not take that opportunity to try and leave early. Okay? So, because if this were a real fire, the fire department's trying to come down Highland Avenue, they got hoses to run all up and down the street, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. So just we're going to practice that, get into our mindset, okay? And so car traffic would slow or stop their ability to fight the fire, and you're probably going to want to come back in for a fellowship afterwards and have some treats and things like that. Get your coffee, snacks. I know where they're going to go. All right, kids. So you're going to hear some big, loud sounds during your class. All right. So it's do your best to remain calm. Listen to your teachers and to Ms. Dana, and they will lead you to the safe zone where you can meet your parents. So parents, you are not to go try and rush and get your kids. They will be taken care of. All right. So, for the kids, does anyone know? Can you use an elevator during a fire? No, okay, that's right. So when there's a fire, the elevator will go down to the ground floor and stay open. And now we'll probably have some folks here today who usually need the elevator, and we know it's going to be tricky to not use it for our fire drill. But remember, that's why we make sure that we're all helping each other. So as we're going down the path, be looking for who needs help and offering that assistance. Okay, back to the kids. Does anyone here know where there are fire extinguishers? Okay, we got your enemies. What do you think?
I think that there is one down by the classroom.
Probably. How about in here? Anybody see one in here?
By the exit.
There is one by the exit. Okay, there's also one hiding up here in the lectern. Right? Because we got fire. And then around by the small door, there's also another fire extinguisher. So for grown-ups, if this were a real, relatively small fire, and we feel comfortable putting it out with one of those fire extinguishers, then that's fine. But recognize that your life is so much more important than the building, and so don't try to be a superhero. But follow the directions on the canister while you're trying to help others exit safely. So finally, it's important to remember that our building does not have sirens, flashing lights, sprinkler systems, interconnected calls to the fire department. So these are all things that are a bit of a deficiency. Now, many of the smaller rooms have individual smoke detectors, though. And since fire is an important symbol of our tradition, coupled with the uniqueness of this building, be aware of your surroundings whenever you're trying to light a chalice or a candle. Okay, kids, so that should be it. And when today's service or class ends, we're going to give this full fire drill thing a try. Okay? So let's head you off to your classes and try to remember what we talked about. There will be some siren when you're down there. So let's sing this little line of mine for you.
Let it
morning. My name is Deb Klein. My pronouns are she, hers. And I am grateful for this opportunity to share my connection to the fellowship with you and how you have all showed up for me. It can best be described as a succession of firsts. I first visited the fellowship in the late 90s at an invitation from my friends, Cheryl Lawson and Sam Wormley. When I asked about the services they attended at that strange building on Highland Avenue each Sunday morning, they handed me a small card with the principles and sources printed on it. I instantly realized upon reading those words that I had been a Unitarian Universalist all my life, and I just didn't know it. The late 90s were also a difficult time for me personally. Recently married, I had just integrated a whole new set of childhood memories into my adult mind that were understandably forgotten. All the diagnosed mental health conditions from my teens and early 20s finally made sense. For the first time, I possessed a complete history of my trauma experiences. Early father-daughter incest, and teen stranger rape. I could see now how the depression, bipolar type 2, and the failed suicide attempt masked that forgotten trauma. Together, these medical conditions delayed the unraveling of dissociative amnesia revealed through complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Everything was waiting until I had a strong enough support system to remember the unthinkable. Anne Voskamp is right in saying, shame dies when stories are shared in safe places. This fellowship was a safe place for me when I needed it the most. Outside of my therapist's office, I was first able to share my story here with members of the Women's Spirituality Group and the Creative Writing Group and the minister. The fellowship is where I joined my first mindfulness and meditation sessions, attended my first yoga classes, and was invited to my first soul collage workshop. All of these contributed to my healing, as did leading my first free-form dance class here, Kinetic Spirits, which later became Dance Because. When I was ready to share the music from my healing journey, I first played it for the UU folk group offshoot, the Blue Moon Players, and then for my UU Midwest Leadership School colleagues, and eventually held my first benefit concert for Access right here in Fellowship Hall 10 years ago. Because I was able to share my story repeatedly with wider groups and express it through art, dance, and song, the pain disappeared. The trauma dissolved. The mental health symptoms disappeared. And the triggers faded, so much so that I was able to write my first book, Forgetting to Remember. And it is available here in our Dustenberger Library. And now I share my story, my art, and my music to give public face and voice for survivors. The firsts keep coming. In August and September this year, the Gallery in the Round will host my first solo collage exhibit, and it will include free interactive workshops. It'll be called Arts as Alchemy. Ames Writers Collective will host Words Meet Art. Commotion Dance Theater will host Dance Meets Art. And Soul Collage Facilitators will host self-guided card-making sessions for drop-in times. And all of the participants of these workshops will have the option to share their creations at a combined public showcase right here. Together and publicly, we break the silence around mental health diagnoses and sex abuse. All of these firsts, my personal firsts, are built on the foundation of the UU Fellowship of Ames. I am grateful for those who came before me. I am thankful for those who came after me. And if this is your first time here, I hope it is the first of many. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Our prayer this morning is from Reverend John Lou Johnstone. On this day of honoring mothers, we acknowledge the complexity of the relations in our lives, especially family relations, those most powerful influences. In witness of that power and whatever feelings are awakened in us, let us bring our hearts and minds into focus. Let us be together in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Gracious Spirit, may love bless all our families, each of us. Thank you for the mothers who have nurtured our lives and our souls. Thank you for all those who have helped us grow into who we are, whatever their role, grandmother, stepmother, foster parent. We recognize and treasure the nurturers in our own lives, past and present, whoever they may be. Comfort those whose parent or child has died. Loss may feel acute again today as others celebrate. May grief be muted by the memory of love and the consolation of others. May those with difficult relationships with their mothers, or with other parents, or with their children, find ways to appreciate what has been good and to grow from what has not. May goodness be born from any struggles that exist. We commit ourselves anew to the continuity of the generations, whether we raise children or have raised them ourselves, or whether we seek other ways to shape the future. May we honor our struggle to offer to all those coming after us the love, the justice, the wisdom, and the guidance that we may be able to give. May the blessings we have been given by previous generations be transmitted again to new generations. May it be so, and amen. And we now light the prayer candle for all of our mothers today.
of readings. Epigraph from Reverend Chris Rothbauer. Some have left examples for us to follow, others lessons for us to learn from. And the paradox is that many have left both pain and joy. Meditation for May 12th by someone we don't know. Many of us come out of families where addiction or some form of dysfunction was present. Perhaps you had a parent who was a workaholic. Perhaps your grandparent was an alcoholic. Perhaps you have a sibling who is addicted to drugs. In each of these cases, to watch our loved ones suffer is painful. And we are never above that pain. We are right in it. Our lives are affected by the addiction and the dysfunction. There often comes a point where we cannot take it anymore. The pain becomes too great. The family dynamics are too frustrating. And so we talk to someone about what is going on. We break the silence. It can be awkward at first, our truths coming out in a sputtering of words. Or maybe it is fluid, a long string of sentences pouring out of us so quickly because we have held it all in for so long. To share our pain, to share the mixed feelings we have, to share the hope or the joy when someone finally becomes sober, these are beautiful beginnings in the healing process. These are times when we are showing up for ourselves and really inviting someone in. To share our burdens and our joys with someone else is sacred. Today's question: what am I holding on to that can be shared with another person? And now we will give and receive our offering. Please know that this morning, half of the non-pledge offering will be donated to UU Ministry for Earth. This organization is a seed bed for spiritual grounding and education that inspires deep practices of earth care, justice, and flourishing for all. They envision a world in which reverence, gratitude, and care for each other and for the living earth are central to the lives of all people. The other half of the offering will support programs here in our fellowship that make this a community of inspiration and transformation. We'll pass the basket here in Fellowship Hall. Alternately, for those at home or here with a cell phone, you can go to uufames.org/give to make your contribution today. If you are visiting today, please know that your presence here is gift enough. And now I would like to thank Elijah for the gift of their music. 'Tis the gift to be simple.
Thank you so much, Elijah and Amber, for our beautiful music this morning. Good morning, Central Iowa and beyond. My name is Reverend A.J. Galazin. My pronouns are he and his. I want to welcome everyone joining us today, either in the sanctuary and on Zoom. Wherever you are on your ethical, spiritual, crazy adventure, you are welcome here. And I will be meeting with the Zoom coffee hour today right after our fire drill, so please be patient. I will join you as soon as I get the all clear. And we're assembling my final service on June 16th, the Church of the Cabaret. If you would like to bring your gifts, if you have a special act, please let me know. Singers, dancers, jugglers, poets, string quartets, barbershop quartets, beauty shop quartets, all are welcome. My dearly departed mentor, the Reverend Rob Eller Isaacs, said something every Sunday that still rings true to me. He said, both your gifts and your wounds are welcome here. Your gifts and your wounds. I think of these words every week before I come to the pulpit. Sitting among us right now are those with energy beyond compare and those with deep, unmitigated despair and everything in between. We all live on the spectrum. And for me, it brings up the ancient question of religious people everywhere. Is the church supposed to be a hospital for sinners or a museum for saints? A place of perfectionist doctrines that few can live up to, or a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance, sixth chance helping hand for those who need it most. In the Catholic faith of my childhood, I was taught to suffer quietly, to put on a good face, to bring my gifts to the world, to count my blessings, to feed the poor, to assist those in need. And my current understanding is still congruent with this. I endeavor to make the world a better place. And that starts with coming to terms with my own issues and not projecting my own unresolved conflicts onto the world. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory, the Christian scripture teaches. There is not one of us that does not struggle. Your gifts and your wounds are welcome here. If all we really want are your gifts, your time, talent, and treasure, then those whose wounds are obvious or unbearable may slip out the side door and never return. We are very good at asking for gifts. Sharing our abundance is easy. What happens when we share our wounds? Wounds are not beautiful. They are not valued. They are not desired. Sometimes wounds can even be shameful. And we pour more pain on ourselves by keeping our wounds hidden. Amen. When I worked as a hospital chaplain, I learned something called a non-healing wound. A non-healing wound. I had never heard that term before. From my state of privilege, I had always thought of a wound as a temporary phenomenon, with the optimistic aphorism, time heals all wounds. But the truth is, some wounds never heal. Some disease is not amenable to treatment. Wounds can become a chronic condition that must be lived with. There is no normal standard of health. Each of us sets our own baseline, to use some medical jargon, to maintain what we have, to avoid decline. There may come a point when we can't take it anymore. The pain is too great, the family dynamics too frustrating, the prognosis unappealing. And so we finally talk to someone about what is going on. We break the silence. We show up with our wounds. And the world is run by those who show up. 3 years ago, I attended a class on ECPR, emotional CPR. What is emotional CPR? C is for connecting, P is for empowering, and R is for revitalizing. Quote, ECPR is based on the principles found to be shared by a number of support approaches: trauma-informed care, counseling after disasters, peer support, emotional intelligence, suicide prevention, and cultural attunement, close quote. Now the bottom line, ECPR is not a replacement for therapy or counseling. Serious, long-term, and non-healing wounds require professional intervention. But when we show up in this beloved community, we each can have a part to play, building a culture of caring and acceptance. And that includes being aware of the differences in our mental and behavioral health. Everyone has mental health. Not everyone has mental illness. Now, just like physical CPR, ECPR requires training and practice. ECPR is a 12-hour class where people can better understand and overcome their fear of seemingly unusual behavior brought on by an emotional crisis, and learn how to form supportive connections that empower a person. Now, I confess I never got around to getting certified in ECPR. But I did have an experience recently, along with several members of this fellowship, at your amazing Ames Public Library. We all got certified in an 8-hour class in mental health first aid for free. Is there anyone here who was in that class? Would you stand? Or yes, so there's a few people here. Wonderful. Let's give them a round of applause. Because every one of us could be that person that can deliver that first aid. Now, I can't boil down the 8 hours into a few minutes, but I do want to share a few tips that anyone can use. In the words of the program, we can all be mental health crusaders if we just take the time to listen. According to statistics, there is a rising trend of calls to crisis lines. So here is the Mental Health First Aid Action Plan. It has the acronym ALGIE. Can you say that with me? ALGIE. So ALGIE is A, assess for risk of suicide or harm. The most important step. Don't ever be afraid to ask, are you thinking of harming yourself or anyone else? If someone is thinking of this, it is time to act immediately. The L is for listen non-judgmentally. First aid is to listen, not to fix. G is to give reassurance and information. A calm demeanor can help a lot. And then there's 2 E's. E, encourage professional help, and E, encourage self-help and support. So once again, that's ALGE, assess, listen, give information, and encourage support. And finally, for emergencies, for medical emergencies, if it's beyond you, err on the side of caution. Call 911. Can we say that with me? Call 911. The trained first responders, this is their job and they are ready to assist. We need to remember that statistically, people with mental health conditions are generally not violent. In fact, they are more likely to be victims of violence. And in the end, mental health first aid is really about kindness. Showing up for someone who is temporarily experiencing a crisis and keeping them safe for a moment until they have either stabilized or been transferred to a professional. Showing up is not about becoming over-involved with every detail of someone's life or adopting an overprotective responsibility. That kind of showing up is not supportive and actually may do more harm. Mental health first aid is not a cure or even a treatment. It is a compassionate, sensible, and reasonable response to the human condition. Your assignment this week and ongoing, and it may be your most important assignment. May each of us show up for each other when we need it, when we least expect it, whenever we can. May it be so, and amen. Will you rise now in body or spirit for our closing song, number 1068, Rising Green.
Where
words are from Teresa Youngblood. May you be invited to the party. May you be asked to dance. May you be amazed to learn that your own precious heart already knows and leaps to the song. And in this moment, whirling in the expansive affirmation of all creation, an embodiment of the divine's boundless love, may you turn and face the door, arms outstretched, to sing in a wide welcome the ever-changing song of togetherness to those who have yet to discover that they too belong here.
All right, let's do this thing. So, house right, exit over there, house left, exit over there, and I'm going to go for the siren for the kids.